Dave needs to leave at 2.
Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. I anticipate this being a rather short meeting anyway, because it is just a check-in to see how everybody's doing with their assigned topics, and let us know if they are facing any challenges that they need help with, or do we need to form subcommittees to tackle a bigger topic? So like I said, just a quick check-in. We have written a introduction. Nick Nader has taken that on, and he had provided it to me earlier today, so I have not yet had a chance to review it, but it's, you know, pretty short and sweet. Just talks about the Solar Panel Recycling Commission law and the mandate that the law provides. So after I review it, then I will ask Aisha to share it with the group. Background, Dunbar, Lyle, and Chris, we're going to tackle those.
Yeah, let me say we haven't gotten as much done as already that you might have hoped. I did try and coordinate our schedules, and you might remember from the last meeting that we kind of assigned Lyle to this, and so I was still getting his permission, hoping that he would join. But I have not heard from him, and then I had a week of vacation, and Chris has some travel, I think work related, and so the stars have not aligned yet for us. I will reach out now one-on-one to really rope in Lyle, because he had the line on the state, the BPU database on installations in the state, and I thought that was going to be a gold mine, I thought, for local data. So I think Lyle is critical, but he's not here. I was hoping he might be here too, and then we could shame him into helping me. But I am back, and we'll put things together, or start to put things together on that.
I just want to ask a question. From our meeting that we had in June, when we had Cascade and Echo here, I believe that Lyle stated that he pulled up those reports and that he had sorted them and shared them with the group. I had not received them. Did anyone else receive the reports that he was referring to that afternoon?
I don't remember seeing them. I know the kinds of reports that he's talking about, and it makes sense that they're Excel files, so you could sort them by type or something like that. But I haven't downloaded those myself yet.
I'm checking my email, but I don't recall getting them either. No, I do not have them.
So I'll nudge him some more. And
Yes. Who is this, Jim or Joe?
Well, this is Lyle Walling.
Oh, Lyle dialed in.
just in time.
Sorry, I wasn't able to connect via computer for some reason, and so I'm dialing in on my phone.
So this is Dunbar. So Lyle, would you like to help me with the background section?
I'm sorry, was that?
Yes, it is. That's Dunbar. He asked, would you like to help him with the background?
Dunbar, I owe you an apology. I had to miss that last short call because of a conflict, and I saw your email and thought I had replied. So I definitely intend to help you on the background section. And I also prepared to volunteer on the, I don't have the document in front of me, but there's like a section that I'm willing to do some work as well. But Dunbar, I definitely intend to do some solid work with you
Great. Okay, so
Okay, I recorded that for him to contribute to the recommendation section.
A background.
Oh, it's background. He also asked for the
No,
recommendations.
page 22, yeah.
Oh. Okay. And is Joe on the phone line, Isha?
Joe, are you there?
No?
No.
Okay. We'll have to check in. I can check in with him separately. And you said Stephanie accepted the meeting, correct?
Yes, she did.
She's not on others invited, which is strange.
She's here twice. She accepted.
Okay. All right, I'll have to reach out to her separately.
Hey, Karen, Chris Gulix is on the phone too.
Oh, hi, Chris.
How are you?
Good. So you, we were gonna tackle California, and you were gonna tackle state of Washington. How are you making out, Chris?
In full disclosure, I am, July has been a busy month for me. So I still have to get to it, to be honest with you. So I anticipate doing it in the upcoming week. I've allocated some time here at work to dive into this fully and progress on it. So.
And Sean with North Carolina and Illinois?
Halfway done, waiting on information on Illinois to confirm or verify what I've discovered on the internet.
And are you facing any challenges, questions, problems you want to share with the group?
No, just a concern that the state really hasn't done anything proactively, and the I guess the University of Illinois is pretty much at the forefront of trying to get something started, and I don't know, since it's not a government that's doing anything, I guess I'm torn as to whether or not to actually consider information from the university.
So the university doesn't have a like a government mandate. They are taking this on as a research project.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And believe it or not, a conversation with the university, they said, Illinois there's so many rules and regulations. As I was speaking with the director, I was thinking, wow, that's what they say about New Jersey. But I guess no matter where you go in this country, they're going to say the same thing. There's so many, we're overregulated, which was interesting. But she also said that the legislature is squeamish and afraid to do anything that's going to upset the masses. So, and that's why I'm waiting to confirm this information with the Illinois. It's the Environmental Protection Agency.
I'm not sure. I'll have to double check and confirm it, but I do believe that Miss Butler from SIA put us into contact with someone that worked with those programs in either of those two states. I could double check.
She was right about North Carolina. There is a report. It was issued in January. I have that.
She had a contact of a person that actually worked with whatever they have in place in there, like helped to build.
This is David. I participated along with Evelyn in the University of Illinois. I forget the exact name of the the institute. Stakeholder group. There was representation
sustainable.
of Illinois, EPA, et cetera, et cetera. So they have I guess a draft document that's under review right now. I don't know if it's available for release or not.
It's called Illinois Sustainability Technology Center.
Yeah, that's what the university. It's not the state. It's not a governmental entity. I guess that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. No, Yeah, I don't know if they had any legislative mandate or not.
Well, here's what Evelyn, Miss Butler told us. She said that the stakeholders group, their final recommendations would be published publicly, and that the policy stakeholders are still considering whether or not to move forward. So any details really needed your direction on what can be shared. And this is her email to the contact, Jennifer Martin. She said, she's telling Jennifer that we might want to discuss some of the findings and recommendations with Ms. Martin informally if it's possible. And Ms. Martin replied back that she would share with us whatever she could. Maybe that would be better if you could reach out with Ms. Martin.
Okay, so I guess it goes back to my initial question. Am I trying to figure out what the state is doing or what a university is doing?
I see.
So I guess, generally we asked you to find out what the state was doing.
That's what I thought.
But I'm wondering if we could get hold of a draft of that final report. If there's not some information available, that might be helpful, you know?
The final report's not going to be done until next month.
Next month?
Yeah,
All right.
it's still
In works.
Yeah, I think it's being reviewed. If I remember correctly, I spoke to the associate director last week.
So I'm wondering if, you know, if it's going to be very Illinois specific, or if it's going to have some facts in it about national trends, you know what I mean? I'm just wondering if there's any information that we can glean from it that would help in our final report, but not necessarily it's a state program. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll get a better idea when that report's going to be released.
Okay, thanks, Sean.
Thank you.
Dave, how you doing with the overseas stuff?
Oh, I'm working on it. I have reached out to Evelyn Butler at CF for some help, and I'm waiting to hear back from her. I've reached out to my own colleagues in Japan. I haven't heard back from them with respect to Japan. I did see a study published by I think it's Arizona State University, ASU, that detailed the EU situation in its report. So I was going to take, I'm trying to get the most recent version of that, and I thought I would forward it to this group for review. Do you guys already have that report, or do you know, or? It was an ASU report that tried to focus on, I think, TCLP testing.
Oh, I don't recall.
Okay, and then as part of that report, it discussed different, governmental activities, and I focused in on the EU. But I have that report. I just haven't reviewed it and had a chance to circulate it yet.
Okay, very good. Thank you. The next couple are Joe's.
But everything from this point forward, this was stuff these are things that are based on what we find in the section before it. But Joe did say that he wanted to contribute in that aspect for these subject matters, but everything going from I forward is supposed to be based on whatever the recommendation or the conclusions developed in the previous section.
Okay. So like I said, if you send this to me after the meeting, Aisha, I'll reach out to Joe to see if he needs any help or how he's making out.
Okay.
And then I think there's one from conclusions or recommendations. Again, I thought DEP would be the primary author. However, obviously, this will be a group effort that we will all be contributing, and hopefully we will have reached a consensus as to what approach or approaches we would like to recommend to the governor's office. And then I had gotten a separate email from Jim that he would like to participate in the framework section. And we didn't have a section that was named specifically framework. Jim, you are on the line, right? Can you explain what you would like to participate in?
Yes, it's the design of the program from the ground up, from a process point of view. You're getting all the logistics and making it all.
Did you guys get that?
I did not.
All right, they didn't hear you. Let me try again. All right, go ahead, Jim. Say it. Can you repeat it?
Yes, what I'm looking to contribute is getting the program structure set up as far as the logistics and a potential design of a program that will work.
So,
I'm still struggling.
he'll submit an email. Can you
Okay.
chat?
And I guess if he can hear me, if he could answer you, Aisha, is he working on it? Does he need any help? What's his status?
Okay. Karen would like to know, are you working on it? Do you need any help? What's your status? Do you have anything you'd like to address to the group?
Yeah, no help needed right now. Starting to work on it.
He says no help needed right now. He's starting to work on it.
Great.
I think the part that he's talking about is in the bullet heading framework, and it says provide a description of what the operations at an end-of-life solar panel recycling facility in New Jersey would look like: storage, processing, available end markets, any residuals that would be disposed of at a landfill, etc. Is that the part you're referring to, Jim?
Yes, it is.
That's what Jim would like, that section there, under the framework bullet on the final report outline.
So I guess I would call it like he wants to talk about the actual current recycling practices and
Okay.
and developing. Right. And framework, same thing. All right. So now we have time for a open discussion. Anybody have anything they'd like to share? Lyle? You're muted.
Thank you. Yeah, a couple of things that came out of recent discussions of our trade association, the Mid-Atlantic Solar and Storage Industries Association, where I described these proceedings. One is that an officer of our board who takes care of Pennsylvania, his name is Ron Celentano, his comment was that he and others in Pennsylvania have been undertaking efforts to reuse older solar modules that have been shut down for various reasons, and they're finding some success in nonprofits, churches, and things like that, and people that are willing and able to examine modules that are unused and repurpose them and put them to good use for needy organizations and entities. So I thought that was worth exploring, possibly. Obviously, reusing is the highest and best use, and maybe the least expensive when you count in the additional value of the usable power that they could generate. He would be willing to come on a future meeting if you guys would be interested and describe those efforts and what he sees as the potential for that. So that's one. And then we have a member who is an installer, a relatively new member who attended a quarterly meeting recently, who said that he has started to experience clients who want him to remove solar arrays. Usually, he said, fairly small ones. This is a minority business enterprise that serves minority communities primarily, and he's finding these systems that he's being asked to remove and doesn't know what to do with them. He said he's done some research on ways to take care of them that he could share, but he'd also like to learn about what are the upcoming plans and upcoming potentialities for him. And he's one of the few that I've talked to that is actually dealing with end-of-life modules already in New Jersey and the region. He would also be willing to come and discuss what he's finding as well, if folks would be interested. So that's it.
What's the name of the organization, Lyle?
Well, the first, Ron Celentano, is the president of of the Pennsylvania branch of our trade association. The trade association is the Mid-Atlantic Solar and Storage Industries Association, and the Pennsylvania branch is called the Pennsylvania Solar Energy Association. The installer, who is actually experiencing this and encountering it now, I'm blanking on his name, so I apologize. He was a new member, so I just met him.
No problem. Why are people asking him to remove the panels? Are they upgrading or?
Sometimes they're just problems. They are upgrading, and sometimes they're just problems with the system that may be solvable on site. But often he's getting the request to just remove the modules. Yeah, but often it's repowering the same array. I think cases like that are still fairly rare, but even if it's a small number of projects and modules involved, it's an opportunity really to start trying some things and see what works.
Yeah, I think if they would like to participate in a meeting, we could learn a lot from both of them.
Yeah, great. I'll let him know, and maybe I can coordinate between them and Ashia to set a time and date.
Yeah, that would be great. And oh man, I had a question and now I'm just totally blanking.
Sorry.
Yes, I was going to say, it was actually our last commissioner. She really wanted, Commissioner McCabe really wanted us to get back to that hierarchy of reduce, reuse, and recycle, and as a kind of core theme that I think perhaps we've drifted away from over the years. So including a reuse section would be right in line with that kind of mandate.
I think Ron Celentano is going to be a really interesting person to talk to in that regard. He's an industry veteran for many decades, and he's gotten into this topic quite a bit.
Yeah, that would be terrific. Thanks, Lyle.
Hey Lyle, it's Chris Gulick. Just a question though. I know the issue of reuse comes up often, and a lot of countries will still use panels that have some life left in it, but it almost, and I know this has come up as an issue that I've read about often, is that we're just pushing the waste onto another entity that's usually less capable financially to manage the material when it becomes waste. So, an entity may be deeming the panel no longer usable, which, could be considered, a determination of waste too, and then we're just shipping that responsibility somewhere else. So I think when we look at this, we just have to take that into consideration, as an environmental steward. So
That's a really good point. Of course, on the front end, determining that they are usable before attempting to reuse them is a vital step, and Ron has been engaged in that. But it's still a good point that if it's a reduced lifetime that they have left, instead of the, I mean, these things may be changing hands at 25 or 20 or even as little as 15 years into their life. And they have a life expectation, if they're good modules, of 35 years plus. So there could be a substantial lifetime of useful power being produced for some of these. It could be as much as 15 to 20 years of additional life. And whether that counterbalances the necessity of still recycling them properly or whatever end of life disposition, and in a place where they're likely to have less ability to do so, that's a very important point. So there's a balance to be sought there for sure, I think.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I
Thank
want
you.
to add to what Chris said. Chris, that's an excellent point. And I think that any reuse options that we give because of the final report outline, that could be and should be addressed when we address the environmental justice portion of it. How does it fit into the scheme of environmental justice? Does it harm it or benefit it? So I do think that even though we didn't explicitly say that, when we put that environmental justice into the requirements, I think that requires us to address that subject.
All right.
Anybody else have anything to contribute? News, articles?
I have
Sure.
something. I have something. It's actually kind of crazy. So the last time we had our meeting on 24th, so we're having our meeting, and I believe it was something in the paper about it was a fire at a Home Depot, very close to here, like nearby the Hamilton Marketplace. And I happened to have someone here working in my house that day, and they went to that Home Depot. And by the time I got put into the newspaper, the person had came back to my house to do the work, and he said that it was a solar panel that caught on fire at the Home Depot. Isn't that something? Yeah, it was a solar panel fire at the Home Depot. That's what that was in the newspaper a few weeks ago.
I was just going to say, no, I have seen, I guess not so much with panels, but with the high efficiency window coating, that's been a hot topic in terms of that. I guess they're the windows you can get that are, I guess they're smart glass somehow. I don't know exactly how they work, but I guess that they tint automatically or something. So that way they reflect sunlight in the summer and absorb it in the winter type deal. And that you can like melt your neighbor's siding with them sometimes. And that's been an issue because I guess it's not illegal to put those into your own house. But then you could be liable for the damage. So that's I know been a hot topic in that circle.
Amazing.
Hey, Karen, this is David. Back to reuse, there are, I think, an organization in Arizona that's very involved in reuse issues. And if it'd be, interesting to the group when we have perhaps these other folks from Pennsylvania come on, they might want to invite them also to, talk about their own experience in module reuse and refurbishment.
Yeah, maybe we'll make that a topic of one of the meetings. We'll do a check-in and have speakers on reuse.
The other thing that I would just advise under the new news category, maybe it's not new, but I think PURI, the organization that develops recycling standards, or particularly they've developed the e-waste recycling standards that you may be familiar with. They have just announced that they're going to develop a recycling standard for solar panels.
Who is that, East Storage or R2?
No, R2, Siri,
R2.
S-E-R-I.
Yeah, you cut out. I couldn't hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
R2.
Yeah, I think I saw that across my desk. For all right. So yes, if you want to provide Lyle and Dave contact information to Aisha so she can ask the guest speakers if August 8 would be convenient. I guess we'll do 1:30 to 3:30. And yes, Dan.
Just, I mean, I'll be gone that day. I'm gonna be out of town hiking, so just. But if it works for everyone else, it does.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so what is it would be August 19th-ish. What would be that Monday? Let me pull up the calendar. 2, 3, 4 weeks. It's actually the 16th.
Yeah, would be the 9th, and then the 16th is the following Monday.
All right, off the top of everybody's head, does August 16th work?
It should. Just look.
Works for me.
This is Chris. It works for me.
All right, so hopefully at the August meeting, everybody will have had more time to put pen to paper and develop their own individual outlines or structures or narrative. And then we can check in. And I'm wondering if we should set a longer term goal to have our sections completed. I do better with a deadline. I don't know about all you people. So I'm thinking maybe if we could have our sections in whatever draft form we can get them to by the September meeting, and then be prepared to share those drafts. Is that doable in everybody's schedule? At least as a target? Okay.
Should be.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, so unless anybody has any questions or other issues to discuss, this was a nice quick meeting. All right, thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, take care.
Thank you.
Be well.